everyone. I'm Tyler King. This is In the Know, your number one information source for everything and anything cannabis related in the great state of Florida. Today I'm here with Ryan Hurley from Smart Collective, as well as the general manager at the EVIO Labs Gainesville location.
That's right.
How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me on In the Know, Tyler. I really appreciate you having us on.
All right. Well, go ahead and I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then you can tell me a little bit about both of your companies and your, exactly how you got in the industry and what the company goals are. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about Smart Collective and how that came to be, and exactly a little bit of history on that.
Sure, I'd love to do that. So Smart Collective is where we started. That's SMRT Collective, no A. It's 4 individuals from the healthcare and business sectors that got together to make our mark in Florida's cannabis industry. We had a high focus on patient safety coming out of the healthcare sector, and so we wanted to direct our efforts not only at patient access issues and patient rights, but also safety, and we do a lot of philanthropy as well.
Awesome. So we did touch a little bit about the EVIO Labs. Tell us a little bit more about the labs and that company and the new location that's coming to Gainesville.
That's right. I'm so super excited about this. As someone concerned about patient safety in the state of Florida's medical cannabis program, this is just huge news. EVIO Labs of Florida, who have an operational cannabis testing laboratory right now in the Fort Lauderdale area, have decided to expand the operation into North Florida, and I'm happy to say that we're going to be bringing that laboratory right here to our home city of Gainesville, Florida. So it will be EVIO Labs Gainesville, Florida. We're looking to open in April of this year, and the one really exciting, well, there's many exciting things about EVIO, but we are a Florida-owned, veteran-owned company, and we are also the very first ISO-accredited cannabis lab in Florida. That's an international standard of accreditation to make sure that we're doing everything above board, safely and properly for the patients of Florida.
That is amazing news, especially for all the patients. If you're not familiar with lab testing, a lot of the dispensaries and companies in Florida right now, they do in-house testing. There's no real third-party lab testing, especially in North Florida, as you just stated. And so this is very important for patient safety, for knowing what exactly is in the medicine that you're consuming. And not only does it do that, but it generates jobs. You're going to be hiring employees, I imagine.
Absolutely. Well, just Smart Collective, of course, we employ the 4 members of Smart Collective full-time. Mm-hmm. But in EVIO Labs, we're not only going to have myself and several other front office administrators, but we're also going to have an amazing science team of chemists, nobody less than a bachelor's degree in chemistry, most of them with master's degrees in chemistry. And so we're going to have jobs for the lab, and then as the laws of our state evolve for the transportation of sampling, mm-hmm. We're hoping to introduce more jobs in the way of samplers as well as transportation, so drivers and mechanics and things like that. So there's a lot of great jobs that are going to be produced out of this project for Florida.
Awesome. Well, that's one of the main topics I wanted to talk to you about today, is the career opportunities that this industry has created. Obviously, it has benefited you with the Smart Collective first and foremost, and it has helped, I'd say, thousands of people, if not millions of people in the state of Florida, get into an industry that they couldn't before the Amendment 2.
That's right.
Exactly how, in what ways, if you could personally say from a personal standpoint, in what ways has the industry personally benefited you from a career standpoint?
Well, for myself personally, it's allowed me to combine 2 of my loves. I believe wholeheartedly that cannabis is a medicine. That's why I wear the red cross with the cannabis leaf on my lapel. I'm also a registered nurse in the state of Florida, and so I believe in taking care of patients. And I've seen so many patients across our state that have benefited from using cannabis products, both low THC and high THC products. Mm-hmm. a lot of these patients were able to either reduce or completely eliminate a lot of the synthetic medications that they were taking for their problems and go back to a more holistic, natural sort of wellness. So that's been very rewarding for me. And also, the second thing that's really on our heart is our philanthropy efforts.
Okay.
And this is something that my wife, Maria Hurley, she takes care of. She is our Director of Advocacy, Activism, and Philanthropy.
Okay.
Right now, she's in Tallahassee during session, fighting for patients' rights and patient access.
Okay.
But she also directs our philanthropy efforts, and I'd love to talk about that as we get into other things.
Awesome. Well, that's great. She's on the front line fighting for the patients.
Yeah, she's amazing,
Yeah.
amazing person.
And I can speak from knowing both of them personally. Ryan and Maria are both great people. They're working for the patients, with the patients in Florida, all about patient access and advocacy. I wanted to ask you personally a personal question.
Sure.
What is your personal opinion on the current state of the industry in Florida?
Well, you have to look at it in perspective, I believe. In relation to other states in our country, we're decades behind. But as far as Florida itself in its own microcosm, we have to remind ourselves that this is an infant program, so we're going to have some growing pains. We're going to need to rewrite rules. And so just the passing of Amendment 2 was not enough. We have to keep working to make sure that the government implements the program properly, that all the safety checks are in place, and basically that patient access is there, available and affordable for everyone. And like I said, Maria's up in Tallahassee right now making sure our elected representatives don't forget the patients.
There you go. We definitely need everyone we can get on that forefront fighting for the patients.
Absolutely.
And what would you like to, as a patient and as a entrepreneur in the industry, what would you like to see as an end goal or an end game, a final, when the laws are done being written, what would you like to see as far as the industry and access for patients? And are you supportive of whole flower or the entourage effect, as some people call it?
Sure. Well, that's a lot of topics to cover in one question. I'll try to hit them all. From a healthcare perspective, being a registered nurse, you would want as many routes of administration as possible.
Absolutely.
For a patient. So we have several that are available already in our program, and they're adding more, which is good. But why not open it up? Give the doctors unlimited routes of administration that they can recommend for their patients, and then that way you won't have a patient restricted to 2 routes of administration when they maybe need 3 or 4. So I do support whole flower, and I do support the entourage effect. I believe in that wholeheartedly, although concentrates do have their place and can be very effective medicine.
Absolutely.
We are supportive of many of the initiatives in Florida that support employees' rights for patients. As you know, employers have the ability right now to say we can still persecute you for THC in your system even though you're a patient. So that's something we want to work on. We are also very interested in gun rights for our state. This has been a very hot button issue for a lot of people I talk with, people that are both legal to have their concealed carry permits and are legal cannabis patients. And what are the implications of having both cards with cannabis still being a federally Schedule I substance, which in my opinion is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Coming from a slight country background, in northern Florida, I know a lot of individuals, and my dad, who was a licensed gun dealer, and I know a lot of individuals who like their firearms, and to be able to support our protect their families in time of need. So that is a big topic that's going around Florida right now. Also in Hawaii, they were talking about going around and rounding up everybody's guns. That never happened. So I think it's very unconstitutional, if you ask me. And I think that's something that hopefully will not work itself out, but get worked out in Tallahassee very soon. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another topic that is foremost in our sights right now is some of the rules that our Office of Medical Marijuana Use needs to put out. They have until July to do it, but it's really in the patient's best interest that they put those out as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Our director, Christian Bax, has released a set of dates for public hearing workshops where the public can go and give feedback about rules for edibles, dosing, what pesticides will be allowed, and also for third-party independent laboratory rules. So that workshop is on March 20th. I believe it's in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And so with EVIO Labs, we are pushing for the Department of Health to adopt a very comprehensive set of safety rules for our patients here in Florida, so we know that everyone is getting clean cannabis, clean medicine.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's one of the most important subjects right now is people want to know exactly what they're putting in their bodies, just like anything. So, absolutely. And even if it is a plant, per se, it starts out like a plant. As of right now, we don't have whole flowers, so concentrates, they get made, and people need to know exactly if these concentrates are done properly, if they're safe, if there's any, if there's any residual gases or anything left in these concentrates. They need to. That third-party testing is very pivotal in the industry. One thing I wanted to ask you is, as far as EVIO Labs, you will be obviously doing third-party lab testing.
Yes.
But as far as Smart Collective, what are your what is a long-term goal, and what is your goals in the state of Florida in the cannabis industry?
Yeah. So a large part of it is being achieved by the EVIO Labs mission. The patient safety portion of our mission is definitely going to be covered by that. What I'm also very excited about is some of the philanthropy efforts that my wife Maria is going to be directing this year. As you may know, last year we supported the three most prominent veterans organizations in our state, which are Mission Zero, the Weed for Warriors Project, and Buds for Vets. What we noticed was that a lot of doctors were donating recommendations, but then there was the secondary hurdle of having to pay the state fee, $75 for a card to get your medicine, which we believe is an egregious fee. That's more than your driver's license. So we wanted to step in and bring awareness to that. We started the civilian support operation, and we sponsored one member of each of those organizations' card fees for the year.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to let Maria roll out the details for the expanded civilian support operation. But the few things that I can tell you is it's not only going to include veterans, it's also going to include disabled patients.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be about quadruple the size of last year's program.
That's
so
awesome.
We're very excited about helping patients with that.
That's great to hear. So, in conclusion, I want you to, let the viewers out there know how, if they want to get in contact with you. Give us some social medias, some websites, and, if you have a phone number. Obviously, EVIO is opening up in April. So, but I imagine they have current social media platforms. So if you want to let the people out there know exactly how they can get a hold of you.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to know anything about EVIO Labs of Florida, it's EVIOLABSFL.com, EVIOLabsFlorida.com. They can go there to check out everything that's happening with the current lab that's online in Fort Lauderdale and the upcoming lab in Gainesville. Okay. And then if you're interested in anything happening with the Smart Collective, you can come to our website. That's smrtcollective.com. And you can find us on social media, Instagram and Twitter, SMRT_collective, and on Facebook, SMRT Space Collective.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having
and thank
me.
you for fighting for every patient out there and doing what you're doing. And thank you for taking time out of your day and spending it with us on In the Know.
It's our pleasure. It's programs like this that are going to educate the people and help the patients in the end, and so we're all for that. Thank you, Tyler.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.